Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Luke and today I'm going to tell you the top 10 tips to help you survive the first hour of Smalland. The first thing you will need to do is to create your character. The game offers a detailed creation mode and you can make your character exactly how you wish, as this has no impact on your game in terms of class or skills. Once you have created your character, you're going to need to set up your world. While setting your world to either private or public is self-explanatory, the settings for peaceful mode are definitely worth considering if you're not a hardcore gamer. Peaceful mode will make all bugs and creatures ignore you unless you attack them first, which is excellent if you're looking for a more chilled out experience. With peaceful settings on, you can get to grips with the mechanics of the game first and build up your skills, whereas going with the default settings like I did, you need to be ready to die a lot. The bugs and creatures you face in the first hour do a lot of damage, as you will not have access to strong armour or weapons, and have only the basic healing supplies. An important note to mention is that no matter what settings you choose to play on, trophies and achievements will still be unlocked through gameplay, so you can play the whole game in peaceful mode and still unlock the platinum. When you die in Smalland by an enemy, by fall damage or loss of health, you will drop all of your items at your place of death and you will be tasked with retrieving these on respawn. You need to return to the place of death and look for the tombstone. Interact with this and you can collect all of your items again. In the early game this can prove quite challenging, as the bugs in the area will often respawn, so you will need to fight through them again with less supplies. To make this a little bit easier, there is another setting at the start menu, which you can toggle on or off, and this will stop you dropping your items on death. Instead, you will respawn with all of your items, so there is no need to go back to those angry ant nests or those furious bees. Just collect your loot. Smalland is great in that it allows you the freedom to go wherever you want as soon as you start the game, with no need to complete any tutorials. While this is good for returning players, it can be quite daunting for new players. I love going off the main track in games and getting caught up in the various side quests and areas of interest. But my next tip will be to utilise the owl effigies that you find along the road. I didn't do this on my first playthrough and learnt the hard way, but Smalland can be brutal if you don't know the basic game mechanics. Your first mission will be to find the Alder and update him on what has happened, and I would advise sticking to this mission and not exploring too much just yet. Along the way to the Alder, you will find many different owl effigies that offer words of wisdom and explain gameplay concepts to you. The information you learn is what you would find in a standard game tutorial, so if you want the most from your time with Smalland, read all of these effigies and learn the game mechanics as early as possible. Once you read the effigy, the information is saved in your in-game log and you can refer to this again whenever you need. I really enjoy base building in games. I've spent hours creating either the perfect settlement in Fallout or the most outrageous base in Subnautica. Smalland has a base building feature and it's very user friendly but also crucial if you want to survive from the weather and various other dangers in Smalland. My advice is to not get too caught up in this during your first hour. I attempted to build a base early game at ground level, and due to not having enough supplies and getting attacked by enemies, I didn't survive for long. When playing through the game, you should naturally encounter a great tree within the first hour, on your way to the Alder. Climb your way to the top of the tree by using the branches and the tree fungi, and you will reach an owl effigy at the top. Speak to it and claim the tree as your base. You can now build to your heart's desire at the top of the tree. The benefits of this outnumber creating a base on the ground, so I swiftly dismantled my base and moved it into the trees. The benefits include not having to worry about enemies and having the ability to move your base around the map to the other trees without the need to dismantle each time. You will not need to climb all of the great trees every time you want to move your base. Luckily, a very kind tree butler will use his hot air balloon to take you up and down as much as you like. You will need to build a bed to set a new spawn point and have a place to sleep. You can only sleep at night and you must be completely sheltered, with no hostile creatures around. So do not place a bed in a creature spawn point like I did. Sleeping in a bed regenerates some of your health and advances for time to day again, so there's no need to worry about getting eaten by any nocturnal critters. When you die, you will respawn in your last activated bed, so it's important to pick a safe area where you can respawn. Smalland is a survival game, which means you will need to manage your hunger, so make sure to eat and drink regularly. Being well nourished will make you more resilient and energetic, as well as stronger in combat. You can find delicious blackberries in the forest, hunt creatures of the overland for food, or cook your own meals. You won't have access to many recipes in the first hour, but you will be able to make ant kebabs and beetle sausages. Yum! Ants and soya beetles are two of the first insects you encounter, and you can kill them for meat, which is great as an early game meal. Staying well nourished will act the same way as an auto regen, so you will constantly be healed as you play. This is good, as it saves you on your healing supplies and ensures any minor health loss due to fall damage or those bee stings will heal naturally. You can monitor your hunger level by looking at the blue bar under your health bar. You can also pick up blackberries, which do not fill you up fully, but are good as a little top up whilst adventuring or on your way back to camp. If you're out in the wild, it may be necessary to build a temporary workbench to craft some healing supplies, repair your equipment, or you may build a campfire to cook a meal. Once you have finished tinkering, it is a good idea to dismantle anything you've built, unless it's in your main base, as you will receive all of your supplies back. This saves you time foraging for the same supplies over and over again, and allows you to focus on the more important things, like falling to your death or getting chased by angry beetles. If you want to survive the first hour in Smalland, you'll need to make use of the healing items available to you. The easiest healing item to make only requires fibre, so don't be too conservative with your resources and craft a bundle of at least 5 to 10. Even if you're on peaceful mode, I would still suggest crafting these, as you will need to consider fall damage and also the damage you will get from the weather. If you see any honey crumble on the floor, pick up all you can find, as you can craft a more effective healing pack with this early on. Keep an eye out for the honeycomb on the trees. You can often find the honey crumble scattered on the ground below. As the name suggests, you will find honey crumble around the bees, so if you're playing normally, be warned. They do not take kindly to you picking these up. Before entering combat, it is worth remembering that you can use the L1 button to scan any creatures. This will give you useful statistics about the creature, and you can weigh up whether or not it's worth risking the fight or come back later when you have better equipment. The creatures you encounter in the overland have different strengths and weaknesses, so pay attention to the icon next to their health bar, which determines which weapon type will be more effective. Whatever difficulty you're playing on, at some point you're going to have to fight enemies for vital crafting resources and for food. The dodge mechanic works okay, as long as you dodge backwards and not side to side, as the enemies have a large hitbox on you, so the safest course of action is often just to get out of the way. Unless, of course, you can practice blocking. The benefit of blocking is that not only do you negate the incoming damage, but you will momentarily stun the enemy if done at the right time. This is great for getting in a few more hits without the worry of receiving damage. To block, you need to use L2 just as the attack is about to hit you. This can be risky if you miss the window of opportunity, so it's worth practicing on ants at the beginning. I hope you've enjoyed my top 10 tips for surviving the first hour of Smalland. Let me know if you have found any more early game tips or tricks that are crucial to survival, and share them in the comments below. Smalland is developed and published by Merge Games, and there is a link in the description below if you would like to check out the game, which is out now. All the footage you see in the video is my own and was recorded on a PlayStation 5. If you have enjoyed my guide, please subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.